We got another lovely unboxing today. Stay tuned.
Comically Correct Comics.
Welcome to Comically Correct Comics. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. On this channel, we do all kinds of different videos, lots of unboxings, lots of comic book speculation related stuff, and then other just more general, informative comic book related topics. So if you enjoy the content, please consider hitting subscribe and a like. If you're here from Instagram, make sure to leave your Instagram handle in the comments so you get into my weekly giveaway. And go follow me over on Instagram if you haven't already. This week I'm giving away a slab, and I always have an awesome giveaway going on. But make sure you leave your Instagram name down below if it's different than your YouTube name. Otherwise I won't know who to put in the giveaway. So we have an awesome unboxing today, and let's just start right away. I've got some to start off, I got some slabs, and this was kind of funny because I was doing some research on Ultimate Fallout prices, seeing where Ultimate Fallout 4 was at price-wise, and I came across this Ultimate Fallout 4, the second print, the first appearance of Miles Morales. This is the Pichelli variant, and I stumbled across this seller because I saw that these books were selling for like $150, and at first I was pissed. I was like, because I have quite a few copies of Ultimate Fallout related stuff, including this issue, and I couldn't figure out why the price was so low. And then I found the seller and found that he had a lot of copies of this book for sale, and he listed them all at auction, and some of them were ending just at the worst times, you know, at like Tuesday at 2:30 in the afternoon. Most people are at work. I mean, it's a little different now with COVID and everything. Maybe people are able to bid, you know, in the middle of a weekday, but for the most part, you want your eBay auctions to end either like Saturday night, or the best time has been shown time again to be Sunday evening around 7 p.m. What you see across the board with eBay is if you list things at weird end times in the middle of the day on a weekday, they usually sell for less. And this guy had a ton of copies of this selling at different times. So at first I was pissed because it was driving the price down. And then I thought, why don't I just buy them? So I bought a whole bunch of his listings, as it wasn't just that. I mean, he obviously has hundreds and hundreds of books, CGC graded, and he just keeps listing them every day. You know, auction, no reserve, ending at weird times. So I picked up some of his other books. I have a ton more coming, but he also had Negan Lives. This is the red foil variant. Sorry for the glare. CGC 9.8, and the Negan Lives silver foil variant, and he had these both listed together as a set, one listing at auction, and I got all three of these books, the two Negan Lives silver and red variant and Ultimate Fallout 4 for $250. All three of those books for $250. And it's just a prime example of supply and demand. If you have a huge supply and the demand can't keep up with it, it drives the price down. It's economics 101. So there's other people on eBay that do this right. There's one guy, for example, that I know for sure he has, I don't know, maybe at least 100 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 252 Newsstand edition. I know this because about a year ago I bought one from him, and he always has it listed. He only does one copy at a time at auction with the starting price at what the value is. So I bought one from him about 10 months ago for $375, Amazing Spider-Man 252 Newsstand, and that was the fair market value, around $375. And he lists one a week at auction. Some weeks he doesn't sell it because he's asking full full value. And he's still going strong. Here we are 10 months later. He has them listed at auction with a starting price of $900. So the benefit to his long game strategy is post one at a time. It doesn't saturate the market. It doesn't drive down the price. And you get the benefit of, if the price goes up over time, you're always getting the high price. Whereas this guy with these Ultimate Fallout 4s, he floods the market, drives the price way down, and gets rid of all of his stock at rock bottom prices. It's a horrible strategy. I'm tempted to give you his name so you can go check him out on eBay, but I don't want to put him on blast. I mean, who knows what his situation is or why he's doing it that way. But anyways, a lot more books coming from him. Next up, I got some more of these Marvel Spotlight collector packs, which I showed in a previous video, but I got 4 more of these packs. And when I first got these are the Marvel Spotlight collectors packs, and what they do is they collect a crossover event between different titles in Marvel, and these were sold in the 90s in like convenience stores and drugstores and things along those lines, to try to get new people interested in comic books. And what's cool about these sets is that they all contain a foil cover, which is awesome. And I did a crazy thing. Okay, I couldn't help it, but I had to open one. All right, so I got multiple copies of this one in particular, Generation X. This is the Final Sanction storyline crossover event. So it has 3 different issues: Wolverine 85, Cable 16, and Generation X number 1. They all have a foil cover, and it's either part or completes a crossover event storyline. The reason I had to open it was because I wanted to know if they were newsstand edition or not, because oftentimes when distributors sell comics in packs like this, they're newsstand editions or subsequent print editions, usually a more valuable edition of the book. So let me show you what was inside. Open them up, and unfortunately they're not newsstand editions, they're regular editions. But what I was happy to find is that they're super crispy. And this one happened to have a corner bend, really bad corner bend down at the bottom. And it was obviously when they put it in to the box, it got snagged. So that's just this issue. But other than that, the other copies are super crispy. So this is the Cable 16, the Phalanx Covenant. This is the Final Sanction storyline, the Phalanx Covenant. This is the foil edition, and they're all super crispy. They're all 9/8 candidates except for that one that had the corner bend. And Wolverine 85, again the Final Sanction crossover with the foil cover. And so I was just really happy to find that these, I mean, some of these might be 9/9 candidates. They're just flawless. Because they didn't go through a shipping box. I mean, they just went directly into these packs. They had nice cardboard, a nice fit. They didn't rub against each other. These packs are from 1993. That makes them almost 30 years old, okay? And these books that I got out of this pack 30 years later are all in better condition than the stuff I got from Diamond Comics last week. It just blows my mind that the Diamond Comic distribution model is worse than it was 30 years ago. They're in better condition. But anyways, so that was exciting to see that even though they weren't newsstand editions, they are all really high grade. So here's some of the other collector's packs that I got. This is more of the Phalanx Covenant and the Generation Next story arc. This is Uncanny X-Men number 316, X-Men 36, and Uncanny X-Men 317, and X-Men 37. And some of these books actually have first appearances. And I know beyond a shadow of doubt, if I send these in, if I open them and send them in, I could get 9/8 on them. But what do you guys think? Leave a note in the comments. Should I open these, crack these open, send them into CGC to get graded? Or should I keep them in their original form in these collector packs? I mean, they're sealed, factory seal things. I'm leaning towards just keeping them in these collector packs. I think how collectibles go, the original condition is usually the best way to keep an item. So I'd be curious to know what you guys think in this situation, because I've never really seen comics like this before. So this one has X Factor 92, X Force 25, and Uncanny X-Men 304. Then we have, see, some of them are multiples, so another set of that. And another one here, X-Men 25, Wolverine 75, and Excalibur 71. This is the Fatal Attractions storyline. And another set of that there. So I'm really happy with these because this is how I used to buy books in the 90s, and it just totally brought me back. I think it's totally unique. I've never seen these in their original boxes like this before, so I'm really happy to find these. All right, so this next one is a shout out to one of my subscribers. Thank you, Dr. Doom Does Not Fail. He gave me a heads up to this before it really became hot. He told me you should go pick up Cyberpunk 2077 Trauma Team #1. And he's like, this is going to be a hot book. They just came out with a new, I think a new game on Xbox, I believe, and a new console that's designed with these colors and everything. And I went and I found it on Midtown Comics for cover price, actually below cover price. So I ordered 5 copies, and then the next day or the next week, it hit the hot list, and this jumped up to $20-30 a copy. So I'm just kicking myself that I didn't buy more. I could have got 100 copies from Midtown. They had a whole bunch of them. So there was a little caveat on the spec list for this issue that retailers were shorted originally, so there might be a huge influx in copies of this. So just be aware of that if you go to pick up a few copies. All right, next up, I'm really excited about this next set of books. I was surprised that I found it for the price I did this late in the game. We've got 5 copies of Something is Killing the Children #1. This is the Jenny Frison Virgin cover. And first of all, I just love the Jenny Frison art that she's putting out right now. And the fact that I found it for this super hot title at such a reasonable price, I was really happy. So I got 5 copies of Something's Killing the Children #1, the Frison Virgin variant. So I was also really surprised to find this for a really decent price. This is Something is Killing the Children #1. This is the Jay Lee and June Chung variant Virgin cover. And anyway, it's just a super sick cover. Found that for a really reasonable price, so I went ahead and picked up 5 copies of that. And then I was also surprised to find this, Something is Killing the Children #2. This is the regular cover, and I found 3 copies of this at a super good price. I'm really happy with Boom Studios books in general. They seem to be higher quality paper so far, so the covers are all really high grade. These next books came from Sanctum Sanctorum Comics, and I'll put their info up here, and I'll put a link in the description to their site. They had a really good price on this. We only find them when they're dead #1. This is the 1 in 10 variant, and I got 5 copies of this. I already have a bunch of copies of this, but don't sleep on this book, you guys. You can still get this 1 in 10 variant for a really reasonable price. You can still get some cool exclusive covers for a really reasonable price. These at Sanctum Sanctorum, when I bought these, were only $10 a piece. They all came in really high grade, so I was really impressed with that. And they also had this really cool exclusive cover for We Only Find Them When They're Dead #1. Bam! Check that out. It's kind of a spin-off of the Jenny Frison 1 in 50 variant for the regular, 1 in 50, but it has We Only Find Them When They're Dead text in the background overlaid over it, and she's also got like a fur wrap around her neck, which she doesn't have in the 1 in 50 variant. So I think this was like $20 or something, but I really think that this series is going to be hot, and this cover is just super hot. So I got 8 copies of that. All right, these next books I got from Cover Alpha Comics. Okay, Cover Alpha Comics, and I'll put their info up here, and I'll put a link down in the description. And again, We Only Find Them When They're Dead #1. This is another exclusive cover. And you can tell it's just so sick. Just a little bit different. It's a spin-off of the 1 in 50 Jenny Frison variants, Jenny Frison art. But what I like about this company, and companies in general like this, so I went ahead and picked up 5 copies of this. It's really impressive when a company like this, Cover Alpha Comics, sends you their books super well packed. I mean, super well packed. And I don't know if you can tell, but these have the My Lights version 2, I believe, that really help the colors to pop. They're more protected. The books are more protected in these bags, and they have a super thick backing board. And that makes all the difference when you're receiving these books. There's a wow factor when you open up the books and you're like, holy shit, because it's just, the colors pop and it's so sturdy and firm. Really nice touch when you're buying from these exclusive companies. So far, Cover Alpha Comics uses really impressive packaging, bags and boards, and also Comics Core Promotions. They use the same really high quality things, and when you're buying an exclusive cover, you're paying a pretty penny for it. It deserves the better bag and board, in my opinion. So next we have, continuing with the We Only Find Them When They're Dead theme, we have the actual We Only Find Them When They're Dead #1, 1 in 50 Jenny Frison variant. Just one of the coolest variant covers I've seen in a long time. So the 1 in 50 is indeed a virgin cover, and what's interesting about these books is they're super hard to find in high grade because of the distribution model of Diamond Comics and the fact that it's an all black cover. Every single copy I've seen online so far has had a tick somewhere. Every single one. So I think I bought 3 copies of the actual 1 in 50, and I've got 2 more coming, and I'm hopeful, I got my fingers crossed that those are 9.8 candidates, because this one is just not, it's got a color breaking tick. It's not going to get the 9.8. But also we have the We Only Find Them When They're Dead. This is the 1 per store thank you variant. Now, what's interesting about the 1 per store is you would think that the 1 per store would be worth more than a 1 in 50. I mean, you would think, but the 1 per store is it's going for like 25 to 35 bucks, whereas the 1 in 50 is going between 50 and 75 bucks. So it's interesting. I think that stores that get this just don't really care. A lot of stores get this that will never get the 1 in 50 variant because they would never order 50 copies. And so they just put these up on eBay and they're happy to get whatever they can because it's just a freebie for them. So it's an interesting phenomenon with the 1 per stores. You would think that they're more rare, but it seems that the price is always lower on the 1 per store versus the high ratio variants. All right, so next up we have this is the 1 in 30 variant of We Only Find Them When They're Dead 1. This is the wraparound cover. And so I have both ends here. So that's how they go together. Super, super sick wraparound cover. And then another thing that I thought was interesting with Midtown Comics is got another copy of the Free Comic Book Day Spider-Man and Venom #1, the first intended appearance of Virus, as we all know by now. And it's interesting is this is the Midtown exclusive. It has its own sticker on the front, not sticker, but just imprint on the front. And what I thought was cool about this is that it came in a bag and board. Like, I got so many Free Comic Book Day issues from Midtown that were not bagged and boarded, and all of a sudden they started coming in bag and board, so I thought that was cool. And last but not least, I don't know if you can even see this because of the green screen, but this is Immortal She-Hulk #1, the Alex Ross timeless variant. Those Alex Ross variants are crazy cool. They're also a dime a dozen. It's just an order all you want cover variant. The one to look for with that is the sketch edition. They have like a 1 in 100 Alex Ross timeless sketch edition that seem to be going for a lot. And then we have X of Swords Creation #1, which I thought was an interesting read. I thought this was an interesting book. I actually really did enjoy it. So what is cool about this, Immortal She-Hulk #1, is that we do find out that she indeed did have her first appearance, Immortal She-Hulk, in Civil War II #4. Now, this was a huge spec book. It still is. And the debate was whether or not Civil War II #4 was going to be considered Immortal She-Hulk's first appearance. And in this issue, and here's a spoiler alert, okay, if you haven't read this and you don't want to know what happens, fast forward at 20 seconds, okay, because I'm going to talk about what happens here. So she talks about the fact that she's died 3 times and come back to life. And the first time that she died and came back to life was in Civil War II, issue #4. And it actually has a page of a flashback to that. So it removes all doubt that was the first time that she came back to life. So anyways, I thought that was kind of cool because I was kind of wondering how that all was going to play out. Another thing about X of Swords Creation #1 is we saw some of the characters that we saw in Free Comic Book Day, X-Men Free Comic Book Day 2020, and it was their first appearances, and so there was more information came out about them. So if they become hot, it could have an impact on that Free Comic Book Day X-Men issue. So anyways, guys, that does it for this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, please hit a thumbs up on your way out, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.